Another person that randomly inserts himself into things at a weird conversation is Meek Mill. Meek Mill decided to attack 50. And the reason why he decided to attack 50 is because 50 decided to respond. He responded. Make this clear because Meek Mill doesn't understand what's going on. Meek Mill is slow in the head. I think he's got some CTE or something going on, but he's slow in the head. Meek Mill attacks 50 for 50 attacking Diddy's kids, but 50's just responding to Diddy's son that dissed him on the track. That's it. 50 throughout this whole time has never mentioned Diddy's kids. Even when they got arrested and raided, didn't mention them. He actually said in the caption, like, whoa, this is crazy that they're even messing with the kids. They shouldn't be doing that. I think he said something along the line. He's actually defending Diddy's kids. He's actually put Diddy's kids in acting gigs from stars, from shows. So he's always showed love to the kids of Diddy. He's never like really ever, he doesn't mention people's kids like that because he doesn't like when his kids get mentioned. So that's a whole different story. But he never mentioned them. And then Meek Mill jumps out the window and says, why are you attacking somebody's kids? Well, if you don't know the history of how it even started, why are you jumping into this? So what happened was King Combs, a.k.a. Diddy's son, dropped a diss track called, now that we know, it's called Pick a Side. Because at the time when I was doing the last podcast, it just came out, no title. We dropped that Pick a Side, dissing 50. 50 then went on Instagram, which I covered on my last podcast, clowning him, saying, you drugged women. You're over here. Why are you talking? You and your dad, I'm scared of your dad. Don't attack me because he killed Tupac in a joking way. Whatever. Just basically clowned his son. Then Meek Mill just inserts himself into this out of fucking nowhere and just randomly starts tweeting shit that makes no sense at all. He says 50 posted the little Instagram post about clowning Diddy's son and stuff, and then Meek Mill quoted it saying, because you're federal, the street guys in Queens know that's why you're trying to pick on a little boy. So basically he's calling 50 Cent a cop. He's a federal informant. Which is the funniest shit ever coming from a guy that is signed to a correctional officer or to a former correctional officer. That makes absolutely no sense. Meek began in a series of since deleted tweets saying, your own son hates your guts. LOL, I'm so grateful to be on an island with my son and his friends on his B-Day. Don't follow these guys. Their miserable lives be terrible. In a second post, he added, y'all guys 50 online beefing with kids. Of course, y'all guys left all y'all friends and family behind. Y'all holding the culture back for real old hating, manipulating guys, LOL. I say what I want because a war come behind me if that's the case, LOL. But y'all got that rap shit too loose. Somebody gonna die and y'all gonna be calling Farrakhan or y'all federal friends just because y'all not hot no more. Tearing y'all folks down, all y'all can do. You concluded by calling 50 mentally sick and a rich parasite. 50 then responded and posted a photo saying, you sold 6,000 copies your last project. He's talking about Meek Mill's last album. So I really want to see if he actually did sell 6,000. I don't think he did because I don't remember Meek Mill selling 6,000. He said, you should not be on vacation, still chasing the dream or embracing the nightmare, which is very hard flip on Meek, man. That's a hard flip. Still chasing the dreamer because, dreams and nightmares, this whole thing. Standing by your man, I respect that. And then 50 then also posted a photo, a video, not a photo, of when Meek Mill's rapping. It's a viral clip where Meek Mill's rapping about he's rapping about some sexual things, and then Diddy turns around and looks at him in a very weird way. It's probably one of the funniest things. Oh, he ended up deleting it, but he basically said, I applaud you for standing next to your man. Like a real woman would do. He said something along the lines of that, which is fucking ridiculous. And then Meek Mill responded to those and said this, my last project sold 90,000 first week, expensive pain. Ross did that last CD for fun to let me out my contract because we rich and we have some type of history. It's different, LOL. I don't even know how Cuban was talking to you. Your swag is extremely whack. Who the fuck is Cuban? Mark Cuban? But let me stop. He said, I never seen black people laugh at black people getting indicted. He really be online enhancing people's cases. And he got real statements against guys. You ain't freed Mike Knox yet. Everybody on to you. But let me stop. These guys y'all look up to, these people that destroy black families and success, like black cops, I don't find them funny. I see them as rich parasites. Guys be rooting for guys to go to jail and claiming he's from the street. And they just went on a bunch of things like all they post is bad things about me. But you do this to yourself, Meek. You be saying the most dumbest. Like, do your research. Before you jump in on this and say 50's attacking Diddy's kids, why don't you look at what happened? Diddy's kids his kid dissed him first and decided to go out on the limb and attack him. Now, he's defending his father. Cool. But 50 and Diddy have always had a bad relationship. And 50 always clowns people. Doesn't matter. He just posted today about Jay-Z. He posted a weird ass photo of Jay-Z's, which it is a real photo, by the way. This is an old photo of Jay-Z's face really close, and it scares the shit out of me. Big, lips, camel lips. Everybody calls Jay-Z. Big nose, and it's like really close to him. I think a photographer took this photo in a very weird lighting, and just it's bad, man. And people, of course, clown Jay-Z about this, his features, all that stuff. And then 50 posted, Jay-Z is in hibernation. He ain't coming outside till this shit with Puffy blows over. No brunch, no lunch, no dinner. LOL. I'm all you got. I'm outside. So 50's saying, listen, I'm not scared of all the stuff that's going on. You guys got allegations against you. That's why you're hiding. And 50, before I know some stuff that 50 said about Jay-Z that hasn't been released yet. And it was on the Back Down official original version of the diss track. And on that track, he alleges that Jay-Z likes little girls. So that's a whole pedophile type of thing going on there. Imagine if 50 released the original version of Back Down and claimed Jay-Z was a pedophile at the time. Because, he said R. Kelly likes... No, he claimed Jay-Z likes little boys and R. Kelly likes little girls. He says on the song, R. Kelly likes little girls, Jay-Z likes little boys. That's why they had a song called Girls, 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 or some shit like that. He says, I don't remember the lines exactly, but something along the lines of that. If Back Down, the original version, ever gets released, you can quote me on some bars that I've mentioned quite a few times. But yeah, 50's always kind of called out people that he thinks are bullshit, and he's never really been shy of it. And Meek Mill inserting himself to this stuff makes no, like, the points that he makes absolutely no sense 90% of the time. You're talking about federal, but you work with a correctional officer. You're talking about relationships with his son, which is public. Everybody knows that already. And 50 kind of explained the situation there, but he's got kind of 50 on that. Hey, I have my kids, you don't, blah, blah, blah. Cool. And then, just inserting himself in stupid shit that makes no sense. But yeah, that's Meek Mill for you. I think he has moments where I'm like, what is he doing? And then he has moments where I'm like, what the hell's going on? Let me see what 50 said about the 9,000 copies, because that has to be false. I know 50 be trolling and shit like that with the copies. He'd be lying on a lot of these album sales. What was the last album he released? Let's see if Meek Mill's telling the truth, too. Last album he released was Expensive Pain, which is right. He ain't lying about that. Yeah, it debuted at number 3 with 95,000 sold. So that's, in terms of Meek Mill, that is false. In terms of the collab album, they didn't even do 9,000 copies. They did more than that. They did, let me see. Let me see what the sales. If I remember, it was like 30,000, if I remember correctly. Where's the sales on this? There's no fucking sales on this? Come on, man. Too good to be true. First week sales. Yeah, 31,000. So, 50's trolling with that 9,000, copies thing. I do think, or 6,000. He didn't even say 9,000. He said 6,000 copies. He's trolling with that. That's not true. That's not facts, Fifth. You know that. And I even doubled down on saying that I think 50, I love, obviously 50's my GOAT, love him, blah, 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 but 50 hasn't released the album in a really long time. I know he's focused on business. It's not his thing anymore. I get that. People are going to comment, oh, Quake, he's not focused on music. He's never going to drop an album again. I get that. But you can't be clowning other people's album sales and you haven't released an album in ages. That's kind of counter, all Meek, see, if Meek was smart, all Meek had to say was, when's the last time you dropped an album? And let's see how much it would sell. That's all you got to say. If he's going to clown you about album sales, be like, why don't you drop an album? You haven't dropped an album in 10 years. And when you did drop an album 10 years ago, it did 45,000 first week. Imagine what you're going to do now. Probably less. That's what I would troll 50 on. Because let's be honest, 50 hasn't dropped an album since Animal Ambition 2014. Streams weren't counting at that time. Streams didn't start counting to album sales till like 2016, 2017. So at the time, that was pure album sales, physical. Great numbers, right? 45,000 independently with no label behind him, just G-Unit Records. Carolina was distributing the album, meaning just printing out copies, no promotion, just straight G Unit Records, 45,000, and he released all the songs before the album's release, which is, now 50 calls it a mixtape because he said that in a recent interview. Oh, that was more like a mixtape because it didn't really perform that well in sales, but that was an album. That was promoted as an album. We all thought of it as an album, so 50's capping on that. Now, you could say that is his first independent album, actual album independent. Yeah, you could categorize it as that, but 50 in today's time, if you were to drop an album, he definitely want to do 6,000. I know he'd do more than that, but, 50, drop your nuts and drop an album, man. Do something like that. Show us what you can do in sales. I would love it. Obviously, for me, I'm using this as a way to try to get you to drop some music because I want some new music from you. Damn it. So stop talking about album sales and drop an album. We would love that. Eminem's trying to get you to drop an album. So drop an album, man. I want to see what you do first week sales. I honestly don't give a shit if you sell 5,000 or 100 million copies first week. Actually, if you did 100 million copies first week, you're the GOAT, but you know what I mean. I don't really give a shit about sales. 50's already succeeded. I don't think he's I think more focused on sales. He puts an emphasis on sales because before 50 came around, people didn't really pay attention to sales. They didn't really give a fuck. Like, that wasn't a focus at all. When 50 came in the game, it was all about sales. How much did you do first week? Oh, I did this. And he was dominating. So why not talk about first week sales? And then that became part of like hip hop culture, talking about first week sales, because before that, nobody gave a shit. I'm going to be 100% with you. Nobody gave two fucks about sales. They could care less. Now, do people talk about, oh, my album went double platinum and gold? And yeah, but they never talked about, oh, I did first week, I did this. They never talked about it like that. I mean, if you look back in Tupac interviews, I think there was a moment where he talked about, yeah, we went double platinum, stuff like that. But they never talk about like, oh, I did 600,000 first week, I did 400,000. Like, that came once 50 came in the game. But I would love to see what he would do in numbers. I think anything below 30,000 would be a flop. I think 50,000 copies would be good, not bad, and not. It wouldn't be bad and it wouldn't be good. It would be right in the middle. And then anything above 50,000, like if you did 60, 70, 80, 100, I would see as a success to me personally. But that's, that's everybody's interpretation. I think under 30,000, that's a flop for 50. 50,000, you're right in the middle. And then if you do anything above that, to me, it would make sense that you were successful because you haven't dropped an album in ages. So, yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted and see if anything comes out of this. But it's probably just going to be another one of those things that people talk shit. And Mike Knox actually stepped up for 50 and dropped a diss track towards Meek Mill. So that whole Mike Knox thing was false. And then Meek talking about, 50, snitching on people. We have disproved that 90 million times. He never has as well. So, Meek's just talking just to talk. So we'll keep our eyes posted and see if anything comes out of that.